I'm John Byrne with Poets and Quants. I'm here with Sandy Kreisberg. We are here with Fridays with Sandy. We have a great candidate to handicap. He has a 770 GMAT. He's a consultant at Deloitte, 3.95 from UCLA. His targets are Harvard Business School, Wharton, MIT, Columbia, and Haas. Sandy, what do you think?
Let me ask you some questions, Teddy, because you could help us out. You work for Deloitte, and there's a kind of a hierarchy in consulting firms. So I want to ask you some Deloitte questions, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah.
I noticed you graduated off calendar. You graduated in December, and then you joined Deloitte in February.
Yeah.
How did that come about? And was that hard to get, or what? How did that work?
So I graduated in about 3.5 years, and I applied in the fall. So it's sort of the normal recruiting timeline for Deloitte as a part of their strategy and operations function. Initially, I was supposed to start the following August. Because I'm a Canadian, so I'm not American, there were some visa issues going back and forth. And that's why I had to start earlier, because I couldn't stay in the country legally without
okay, so you're a one-off because of the visa issues.
Yeah.
How did they integrate you into a class?
Yeah, so I was actually part of, I think, the second class ever that they had done winter recruiting in terms of starting in Feb. So we had about...
I'm going to cut you off. So there were guys like you, right?
Yes, we had 5 in our start class.
Okay, and then I noticed you did, so even though you're off calendar, you had a regular Deloitte experience. And then you did 2 years as a business analyst. That's the common thing. Then I noticed that you went to consultant. That's your current job, right?
Right.
Okay. How rare is that?
I'd say that's fairly typical. We do 2 years business analyst and then 2 years as consultant before going off to business school. So that's the typical trajectory of a pre-MBA sort of consultant role.
Okay, and then what's your plan after business school?
Sure.
Is Deloitte backing you, or?
Yeah, so that's in the process. We do have sort of graduate school sponsorship. So I hear back in a couple of weeks. But my plan after business school is to come back to Deloitte. And within Deloitte, I focus a lot on process improvements and operations. So I want to come back to Deloitte with a focus on the tech sector. And as I wrote a little bit earlier.
Okay, then let's get right to it.
Okay.
Then tell us what your ultimate plan is, because you're not only a Deloitte case, you're a family business case, right?
Right. So my parents own an IT business in Taiwan. They do distribution for hardware and software. So my long-term
Good. Okay, let me interrupt.
Sure.
Here's what you have to know about applying to business school and saying, I want to take over my family business. This is real important. So, because we're going to advertise this in part as Deloitte, but also family business. What do you think schools care about? Let's see. When you say I'm taking over a family business, what do you think a school wants to know?
Schools want to know that their students are employed after graduation.
But what do they want to know before they decide to take you in the first place?
Oh, okay. That the family business is successful and that will continue to run it.
Yeah, well, you're being nice about it. What schools really want to know, and if you're applying as a family business applicant, you got to tell them the business does X dollars a year, it employs Y people, it's publicly traded or not publicly traded, it's backed by hedge funds or VCs, anything. They want all those metrics, okay? Now, when you gave us those metrics, and if it's not, if you don't mind, could you repeat them here?
Sure.
What the turnover is, et cetera.
Yeah, so there's, in terms of revenue, they do about $300 million a year, and they employ roughly around 400 people.
Good, okay, I'm gonna call that.
Okay, like mid-size.
Just want to give people the facts here. In terms of family businesses, that's good. Okay, it might be the top of the low half, but I would say just in terms of size for family businesses, that would be in the 40th to 50th percentile. I could be dead wrong about that. That's just my feeling for it.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
An interesting question is how small is the business so it's a deal breaker? So I think unless your family business is running a startup or something, I don't know. I think if your revenue is under, I don't know, annual revenue is under 100 million, they begin to, maybe I'm wrong about this, people can write in. The schools say, what do we got here? But you're in good shape there. So I just wanted to get that clear. Okay, so here's an interesting fact, right? Your goal is to go to your family business.
Right.
But you've never worked in your family business.
No.
So how are you going to handle that?
So I've interned in the past when I was in college for the family business, but I think that's a big part of.
Get that on your resume.
Okay.
That's real important. And also, just between me and you, and pretend nobody else is listening. Hashtag in there, name check every time you've worked for the family business, either as a consultant. I might put a line here, consultant to the family business. And I would just say, over the course of my 4 to 6 years with Deloitte, I've also been an informal consultant with my family business. We've discussed 3 major issues. I'm sure that's happened.
Yeah.
You come from a close-knit family. You've got this Deloitte intelligence, so that would really help. Hey, John, have I earned my money yet, John?
Now tell me why that's important. Tell people why that's important.
Because the adcoms want to know that you're serious about it, and that that they want to know it's going to be an easy walk and a handoff to the family business, and you've been involved in it. You know what the issues are, because how do you think you start a typical family business essay at, let's say, Harvard Business School?
How do you start a typical family essay?
My goal is to take over my family X business, which currently does 1 and 2, and expand it into areas A, B, and C. That is how you start.
You mean it's not, I sat at my dinner table every night for all of my first years and had an incredible education about business. And it turned me on to the world of business. It's not that.
If the business is big enough, they would wink at that. But and there's no right way, but that's the classic template.
Sandy, I've got a question.
Sure.
It's, I guess, like, how do I draw the line between, so I've begun to write my essays. How do I draw the line between spending too much time on my family business and not about myself? But at the same time, I guess, to your point, still focus on the future direction of that family business.
Well, let's take Harvard. They say, what else do you want us to know? In your case, the family business, before you met me, almost was no place on your application, except I think there's a slot for what your parents do.
Yeah.
And a thing, and a 50 character or 250 character box for what your goals are.
Yeah.
So this is all new to Harvard.
Okay.
So I would structure the essay as, these are my goals, and let me tell you, some influences. My parents have been an influence, and my work at Deloitte has been an influence. And I believe it's going to be, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What do you want them to know about you?
Probably my background. That's a good question. But I think the family business has been a part of my life.
But what else? I mean, you were talking like, gee, Sandy, if all I talked about was Deloitte and my family business, they're missing out on, that I bowl and was a cross-country runner and play piano for 10 years and like jazz.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Okay, let me be Sandy for a moment.
Okay.
And here's what I mean by that. I'm going to tell you, you have great stats.
Mm-hmm.
You're definitely in the pocket and beyond the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
You have a great job at a terrific brand name firm, even if it's not McKinsey, Bain, BCG.
Mm-hmm.
And you are a safe admit, meaning you are going to be employed. You're probably going to be a sponsored student by Deloitte. They're going to pay your tuition. You're going to go back. You're going to go back for 2 years, and you're going to erase the tuition debt as a result. And then you're going to go on to your family business. But when I look at your extras, sure, you play the piano, you play chess, you like baseball, but I don't see any really leadership involvement in any of your extras.
Yeah.
Sandy, is that a handicap here for a Harvard or MIT?
No. 770 GMAT is a lot of leadership. He's leading the class and leading the class in your GMAT score is the kind of leadership they really like.
I love that. Okay. Now we're getting down to brass tacks, okay?
and he's done and look, we're gonna cut off here because we're trying to keep this under 12 minutes. There's a lot of great stuff on your resume, although it's a lousy resume. This is a resume written for someone at Deloitte, okay?
Okay.
It's very hard to understand these global workforce assessment on digital capabilities for a high-tech conglomerate.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing that I read on your resume. Global workforce assessment on digital capabilities for a high-tech conglomerate.
Now, we call that gobbledygook.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I really don't. Some of them are more clear, but that's just between me and you. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, as to Harvard.
What are the odds?
Well, the odds of getting interviewed, I'd say, are 50 to 60%, and then you're just in the interview pool, which is 60%, I think.
So those are pretty high odds at Harvard you're giving him.
Well, once you get interviewed, do me a favor, Teddy. When you get interviewed at Harvard, hire me for your Harvard mock interview. A lot can go wrong. I think for schools like Wharton, they would eat this up. They're good. They like family businesses. They like the big stats. What other schools do we got here?
MIT, Columbia, and Haas.
Yeah, for MIT, I would really look. Everybody goes for this in general. It's just a lot of good stuff. For MIT, I spend a lot of time telling them why you want to go to MIT.
Okay.
Because every school is looking at you and they're saying, well, are we your first choice?
Mm-hmm.
So for a school like MIT,
Mm-hmm.
You got to tell them why they're your first choice, and that I'd visit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'd visit and say, I was sold at MIT on the visit. I spoke to this guy and that guy, and really sound like you've done your diligence.
Okay.
At Haas, Columbia, same thing. Visit and try and say it's a New York story.
Yeah.
Relate that to somehow the family business, New York. I want to get the New York experience, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
And Haas is a California story. But what you have to do is the family business template that I just told you. That's what you're in the family business bucket.
Right.
Yeah. You can't say you eventually want to work and have a senior role in your family business without having an immediate connection to it, because there's not enough linearity to the argument. You know what I mean?
Well, I would also schmear up, if you know what schmear means. Schmear is what, if you have a bagel and you have cream cheese,
Right.
You smear it on there.
Spread the cream cheese over the bagel.
Totally.
That's called a schmear. I would schmear a lot of your family business experiences over the resume, and you want the cream cheese to fall into all the cracks in your resume. Okay, that's what I would do. Okay,
Okay, Harvard Business School. You're saying 35%.
I don't know, 40%. Yeah. 40,
Okay, Wharton, 40%, 50?
no, 50, 60%.
MIT, smaller class, higher selectivity.
Yeah, but they go for these stats. If you can
They love the
convince them,
stats.
if you can convince them you want to go, your chances at MIT are 60%.
Columbia.
I'm assuming you can present yourself. Columbia might put you,
He
Columbia might
looks like he can.
You're not a natural fit at Columbia. You've got to really convince them you want to go.
When you say natural fit,
You're not their type.
Yeah.
They're, I don't know what they specialize in, but not guys like you. John, what's Columbia? What's the quintessential Columbia admit?
I think his stats just do it for him.
Yeah, right. But aside
And
from,
if he applies early, they'll definitely take him, and they'll take his deposit. And then if he gets to Harvard and Wharton,
yeah, okay. So there's a little curlicue. If you want to blow whatever it is, $6,000, apply early. If you know what we're talking about.
Yeah. What was your undergraduate major at UCLA?
Yeah, it was business economics.
Okay. So no problem.
Okay. Teddy, last question. I love it. What is a Bragg Scholar? I noticed you got the Bragg Scholar. You were a Bragg Scholar. 2 G's, but I love it anyway. What is that?
Yeah, and it was a donor at UCLA who gave
Mr.
a
Bragg.
$3,000 scholarship, right, Mr. Bragg.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. It's just
You
great.
got a lot to brag about, buddy.
Yeah. Truth foretold. Okay. You're in good shape, man. Good luck. And,
yeah, you really are. And I think the really important advice is the connection to your family business and making that very apparent.
Schmear.
Right.
Smear it all over that bacon.
Will do.
All right, Sandy, Teddy.
Adios. Great talking to you all.
Thank you. Really appreciate your time.
John Byrne with Poets and Quants, Fridays with Sandy. Thanks for joining us.